All this time you've been measuring the wrong thing. You're sitting across from her at dinner, she's laughing, and you're running the wrong math. You're calculating how much you like her, how good the sex is, how much she gets you. You're adding up the good times and weighing them against the bad fights, thinking if the good outweighs the bad, you've got a winner. You've been wasting your time. You're like a man trying to build a skyscraper by checking the colour of the paint. You're focusing on the feeling instead of the foundation. And this mistake, this passive hope that love will be enough, is exactly why you see other men, good men, get absolutely hollowed out in divorces they never saw coming. It's why men end up trapped in dead bedrooms, living with a roommate they resent instead of a partner they respect. They ignore the checklist. Not the checklist of, does she like the same movies as me? But the brutal structural checklist that determines if a life can be built or if it's doomed to collapse. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to run the real diagnostics, moving past the fog of emotion and into the cold, hard light of reality. The first and most dangerous myth you have to burn is that love is enough. This is the lie society sells you from day one. It's the drug, it's the high, it's the plot of every movie. You feel that rush, that spike of dopamine and oxytocin when she touches your arm and you think, this is it. You mistake that chemical cocktail for truth. But that feeling has a half-life. It's not built to last. It's designed to get you in, not get you through. That high cannot survive a 10-hour workday followed by a stack of bills. It can't survive a screaming newborn at 3 a.m. It can't survive one of you getting sick, or one of you getting fired, or, worst of all, one of you just getting bored. The feeling fades. And the men who built their marriage on that feeling, they are the ones who wake up at 45, look at the woman sleeping next to them, and feel nothing but the terrifying realization that they just gave 20 years of their life to a stranger. Love is the ignition. It is not the engine. The engine is something far less romantic and far more powerful. It's called alignment. So what is alignment? You hear this and you think it means she also likes hiking, or you both vote the same way, or you both want to live in the suburbs. That's surface level nonsense. That's hobby matching. Alignment isn't about what you do for fun, it's about the fundamental direction your lives are pointed. It's the non-negotiable concrete architecture of your future. And the first place you must look is the one you're trained to avoid: money. You think it's crass or unromantic to bring it up. You're a fool. Arguing about money isn't about money. It's about values. It's about time. It's about respect. If you are a builder, a man who sees money as a tool to forge freedom, to buy back your time, to construct a fortress for your future, and she sees money as emotional fuel, as a way to get a rush, to buy status, to live in the moment and post the pictures, you don't just have a disagreement, you have a different religion. You'll be at work, grinding, sacrificing, putting in the extra hours, and she'll be out treating herself, because she deserves it. And every time you see that package arrive at the door, you won't just see a dress, you'll see an hour of your life you just burned. You'll see a brick you could have laid for your foundation, tossed into a river. You start to feel that slow, creeping resentment. You'll feel like her father, not her partner, like a bank, not a husband. You'll say, "We need to save," and she'll hear, "You're trying to control me." She'll say, "We need to live a little," and you'll hear, "Your sacrifice means nothing." This isn't a compromise you can just meet in the middle on. This is a fundamental conflict of purpose. You're trying to build something. She's trying to spend something. One of you has to lose. And if you marry this misalignment, you will be the one who loses. You will lose your savings, you will lose your respect, and you will ultimately lose your mission. Forget if she's good with money. Ask yourself, is her philosophy of money identical to yours? If it's not, you're looking at your future enemy. This misalignment reveals itself again in the most critical diagnostic you have: conflict. You've been told that all couples fight. You've been told that communication is the key. That's a bland, useless platitude. It's not that you fight, it's how she fights. You must observe her under pressure. When she's frustrated, when she's scared, when she's not getting what she wants, does she fight to solve the problem, or does she fight to win the argument? Does she maintain respect, or does she seek to injure? This is the test. When she's angry, does she pull out the knives? Does she weaponize your deepest insecurities against you? Does she bring up that one failure from a year ago, not because it's relevant, but because she knows it will make you flinch? You see this, and you make the classic mistake. You excuse it. She was just stressed. She didn't really mean it. You're lying to yourself. She absolutely meant it. She showed you her true weapons. She showed you that when the chips are down, her priority is not the health of the relationship, it is winning the moment. She's demonstrating that she is willing to destroy you to feel right. This is the woman who, 5 years into a marriage, will use your children as leverage. This is the woman who will use contempt as her primary tool of control. Every time you let that behavior slide, every time you apologize just to keep the peace after she was the one who went nuclear, you are teaching her that she can. You're not looking for a woman who never gets angry. You're looking for a woman whose respect for you is stronger than her anger. If she can be furious and still fight the problem without attacking the person, you have found a unicorn. But if she goes for the jugular, she is a rattlesnake. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is. You don't bring a rattlesnake into your home. And this leads you to the test of the man in the mirror. You have to stop looking at her for a second and look at yourself. Who are you when you are with her? Are you the man you want to be? Or are you a weaker, neutered, smaller version of yourself? Are you walking on eggshells, constantly filtering your words, scared to trigger one of those landmines you discovered back in the conflict test? Do you find yourself apologizing for being ambitious? Do you hide your wins, that bonus, that promotion, that breakthrough on your project, because you know she'll see it as a threat? You know she'll find a way to make it about her, about what you aren't giving her, about how you love your work more than her. This is the ultimate sabotage. A woman who is not aligned with your purpose will see your mission as her competition. She will mistake your discipline for a lack of love. She will see your drive as abandonment. And because she is terrified of that drive, she will try to tame you. She will create chaos to pull you out of your focus. She'll pick a fight. She'll have a crisis. She'll suddenly need to talk right when you need to execute. She wants a balanced man, which is just code for a man she can control. She wants a hobby, not a partner. She wants a lapdog, not a wolf. A true partner, an amplifier, sees that fire in your eyes and she protects it. She doesn't add chaos to your life, she is the antidote to it. She is the order, the peace, the silence that allows you to go to war with the world. If you look in the mirror and you see a man who is constantly apologizing for his own strength, you are not with your future wife. You are with your future jailer. This lack of respect, this jailer instinct, is something you have to screen for. And the test is admiration. You're obsessed with, does she love me? You're asking the wrong question. Love is a chemical fog. The real question is, does she respect me? Don't confuse this with affection. Affection is cheap. Affection is what she gives her puppy. Admiration is what she gives a man she genuinely believes is her equal or her superior in the areas that matter. You see the difference in public. You're telling a story to your friends and she interjects, "Oh, he always gets this part wrong," and then corrects you over some tiny irrelevant detail. She's not helping you. She's managing you. She's performing for the group, putting a leash on you, showing them that she is the one who really holds the power. You'll share a new, ambitious goal, a new business idea, a new standard you're setting for your life, and you see it. It's not excitement. It's not support. It's that flicker of a smirk, that subtle, patronizing eye roll. "Okay, honey, we'll see how long this lasts." She is not your partner. She is your sarcastic critic. She is the realist who is always there to pour water on your fire. She's the anchor tied to your ankle while you're trying to swim. Every time you let that go, every time you laugh it off to keep the peace, You're validating her assessment that you're not a man to be taken seriously. You're confirming her quiet, deep-seated suspicion that she is, in fact, smarter than you. And you must understand this on a level that chills you. A woman cannot stay physically open and genuinely aroused by a man she believes is her inferior. That dead bedroom you're terrified of? It doesn't begin when she says, "not tonight." It began years earlier, at that dinner party where you let her mock you in front of your friends. Respect is the prerequisite for polarity. She is craving on a biological level to be led by a man she admires. But if you marry a woman who has already shown you contempt, you have proven to her and to yourself that you are not that man. This is the part of the checklist you're most terrified of because it's the one you think you can fix. You've bought into the myth of the damaged bird. You see her chaos, her vulnerability, her emotional intensity, and you mistake it for depth. You see her unprocessed trauma, and your ego whispers, "I can be the one to save her." You think your love will be the thing that finally heals her. You're not a partner, you're playing hero. And you're setting yourself up for a lifetime of servitude. You're not her father, you're not her therapist. And the second you try to be, you sign a contract that makes you permanently responsible for her emotional state. A woman who operates from a place of victimhood has no agency. She believes, in her core, that life happens to her. She's a passenger in her own body. You have to run the diagnostic. Listen, just listen to the way she talks about her own life. How does she describe her last breakup? Was her ex a narcissistic psycho who did all this to her? How does she talk about her job? Is her boss just an idiot who's always out to get her? Are her friends so much drama? If every ex was a monster, every boss was a tyrant, and every friend is a backstabber, what is the one single common denominator in all of those equations? It's her. She is showing you in plain language that she has zero capacity for self-reflection. She cannot take ownership. She cannot look at a failure and say, "Here is where I went wrong, and here is what I learned." It is always, always someone else's fault. And that's fine for them. They're in her past. But you are her future. And that entire narrative engine is about to be pointed directly at you. The very passion you found so attractive will become the weapon she wields. You'll forget to take out the trash, and it won't be a simple mistake. You will be the man who purposefully disrespects her. You'll need to work late on a project, and you won't be a man building a future. You will be the man who is actively abandoning her. She will use her feelings as a nuclear weapon. And because you are a man, you have been trained since birth to see a crying woman as a problem that you must solve. You will immediately drop your frame. You will abandon your mission. You will surrender your own logic to manage her emotional explosion. You've just stopped being the captain of your ship. You're now the full-time chaos manager. You're no longer building an empire. You're a firefighter in a house that she, consciously or not, keeps setting on fire. You cannot build a life with a woman who refuses to build her own. You're looking for a partner, not a project. This all flows into the final, non-negotiable checkpoint. If she cannot manage her own life, how in God's name do you expect her to help you build a new one? This is the test that separates the men from the boys, because it forces you to stop thinking about next weekend and start thinking about the next 40 years. You have to ask about legacy. You have to ask about children. You are not just choosing a girlfriend. You're not just choosing a wife. You're choosing the mother of your children. This is the single most important decision of your entire genetic line. You are selecting the other 50% of your son's DNA. You're selecting the human being who will have the single greatest influence on his mind, his values, and his spirit. You're picking the voice that will be in his head for the rest of his life. And you're scared to bring it up because it's too serious. That is the problem. This isn't just one question. It's a two-part diagnostic. First, the if. Does she even want them? Or is she ambivalent? Is her career her baby? Is her dog her child? Is she on the fence? Let me be clear. Ambivalence is a no, a maybe is a no. If the time is right is a no. If you are a man who knows in his bones that he wants to build a legacy, that he wants to pass on his values, that he wants a son or a daughter, and you tie your life to a woman who is not sure, you are committing an act of generational suicide. You are hoping you can convince her later. You can't. And even if you do, you will have a child with a woman who resentfully gave in. She will resent that child for ruining her body. She will resent that child for costing her a promotion. She will resent that child for ending her freedom. And she will look at you every single day as the man who forced it all on her. Second, and even more important, the how. If she does want them, how does she want to raise them? What are her real values? Not the ones she posts on Instagram, the ones she will enforce when a child is screaming. Does she believe in discipline, or does she believe in gentle parenting that creates emotional tyrants? Does she believe in resilience, in letting a child fall and learn to get up? Or does she believe in shielding them from every single negative feeling, creating a fragile creature completely unprepared for the real world? Is she going to raise a son, or is she going to raise a soft boy she can control, another pet? You must be the CEO of this family. You must set the vision. You are auditioning the co-founder for the most important, high-stakes startup you will ever launch. It doesn't matter how great the sex is. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is. If she is not an A player for this job, the only job that truly matters, you must walk away. This entire list isn't a scorecard. It's not a pro-con sheet where you tally up the good and the bad and hope the good wins. This isn't a negotiation. It's a series of go-no-go diagnostics. You're not looking for a fixer-upper. You're not looking for potential. You're looking for a co-founder. You're looking for an ally for your life's war. And a single, fundamental no on this checklist, on respect, on agency, on money, on legacy, is not an issue to work on. It is a fatal structural flaw. It is the crack in the foundation that guarantees 100% that the entire building will collapse. And here is the final, brutal truth. As you've been listening to this, you've been thinking of her. And you already know the answer. You've been nodding, but you've also been making excuses. She only goes nuclear sometimes. Her money philosophy isn't that bad. She'll probably want kids when she's older. You are lying. You're actively, desperately trying to unsee the truth because you know that the truth demands an action you're too terrified to take. You're terrified of being alone. You're terrified of starting over. You're addicted to the comfort, to the sex, to the routine. And so you're making the most cowardly trade a man can make. You're choosing a guaranteed lifetime of slow burn resentment over the potential for short-term pain. You are trading your mission, your respect, and your legacy for a warm body tonight. This checklist was never just about her. It was a mirror. It's a test of your courage. It's a diagnostic of your own spine. Having the knowledge is one thing. Having the balls to enforce your own standards, that's the entire game. Your future wife is not someone you find. She is someone you choose, and she is someone you deserve. But only when you become the man who has the courage to walk away from everyone who isn't her. Subscribe now, because knowing the checklist is worthless if you're not building the discipline to act on it.